Hello everyone, my name is Joni and this is my Flostube channel, Joni Loves Stitching. I will talk mostly about cross stitching, a little bit of quilting, and a little bit of needlepoint and whatever crosses my mind. Today is June, Friday the 23rd. The days are all blending together, but I think that's the day it is. Also, Fergus says hi. Fergus is more interested in what's going on outside the window, but he was popular last time, so I thought I'd let you guys say hi again. Today, I'm going to try to use my brain, and I'm going to talk about what I've been working on the past few weeks, talk a bit about StitchCon. By now, it's probably been covered ad nauseum, at length. There we go. So I'm not going to try to talk too much about it, but I do want to touch on my experience at Weekend B this year. And I'm going to talk a bit about some plans that I have for the next few weeks. I do have a little bit of haul to show you. Even though my last episode, I basically talked about how I want to use what I have. I did also acknowledge that I was about to go to StitchCon, and oops, I did it again. A lot of stuff, but that's okay. It's StitchCon. I'm done for a while. Let's get this party started. And I'm going to go through the whips that I've been working on. Some of them have been here at home. Some of them were at StitchCon. And a little bit of stuff done on quite a number of pieces. So, what I've been working on most recently during the day, my son has been at summer camp, like a 3-hour day camp this last week. And so I decided to have my own stitch camp. Since it's a pain in the butt to drive all the way there and drive all the way back, I've been driving there, dropping him off, and hitting up a Starbucks and just stitching. The first day, I just kind of sat in my car and stitched some since it was so nice out the last few days. Well, yesterday he didn't even have camp because it was so rainy. But the last 2 days were crummy, so I sat inside instead. But I have been stitching on Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. I started this a while ago, at least a year ago, I think. There is a stitch along going on over on Instagram for it because I didn't know, but it went out of print and now it's back in print. So that is hashtag Away We Ride Sal. Excuse me. So hashtag Away We Ride SAL. And that's stitch along. I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana pumpkin pie from Be Stitch Me. I had originally purchased this wanting it to be a brighter orange, but I'm an idiot and didn't look at the different examples of how the different fabrics dye up, and Lugana dyes a lot lighter than linen. So I could not use it for what I wanted to use it for, but the more I look at it on this fabric, the more I love Away We Ride. So this last week, I finished up that, bringing that around, and then I finished this. Not a lot of work. I didn't even work on it yesterday because there was no camp, and my brain hurt because I get bad weather migraines. So I did not touch that at all yesterday. I am using all the called for flosses. I am getting a bit worried because the pattern calls for 15 yards of garden gate and 10 yards of onyx. And I am down to my last thing of onyx and my last thing, a teeny tiny bit of garden gate, and I still feel like I have a ways to go. I think I have an extra skein of each that I bought when I got that, so I'm gonna go look for those this weekend and cross my fingers. Because we all know dye lots and how they change over the years. The second thing I've been stitching, I started this when I got home from StitchCon, but I bought it there at Keepsakes, is Praiseworthy Stitches, Simple Gifts, Courage, and this is also part of a stitch along. It's with Pam, and that is Pam's Survival Sal, so Pams Survivalsal. So I'm not doing the pink. They had some really pretty pink fabrics out there. I didn't look to see who the dyers of the fabrics were, but lots of really pretty pinks. But as much as I love pink, and I do love pink, I did not want to do this in pink. So I bought initially some other fabric than what I'm using now. I bought a 36 count, I don't know the name. It's in the bag to show you for what I bought. But I'm just doing the main color. I'm doing one strand of, what is this called? Tropical Paradise by Classic Colorworks. Classic Colorworks, probably also my favorite cotton thread. Classic Colorworks Tangerine is the accent. So, and I'm using Color and Cotton fabric, 40 count chamomile. It was from the January 2022 Fabric Club. This is what I have so far. I have not started the tangerine yet, but so far I'm really liking it. And it's actually a lot easier to see the 40 count stitches, holes to work with on this than a lot of 40 counts I've tried recently. Although I don't know if it's because I'm using my bifocals at night or not. I have bifocals, which technically I guess are called transitions because there's not that distinct line. They just, but yeah. So this is what I've been working on at night since I've been home. My husband's gone again. So I have just been watching my TV. I've been watching, and don't judge me, but Witches of East End. And it's a series, and it's only 2 seasons long, but I've watched it 3 or 4 other times. I like it. I call it my trash TV. So I've been watching it and enjoying it and stitching on that. So you can probably still order them if you want to get in on the stitch along. If you follow the hashtag, there are quite a bit of people posting. It's really cool because they're not all stitching in pink. And some people are stitching with some of the other, what are they called? Simple Gifts. There's Faith, Hope. So yeah. And then it's my blackbird pattern. I started at StitchCon, Seaside Tiny Town, and I actually, before I went, I saw a lot of people posting this on Instagram, whether they were stitching it at StitchCon Week A, whether they finished it right before or at StitchCon Week A, or whether they purchased it, and you could get the Tiny Towns in the annex. So there were a lot of people buying it or stitching it. I had kitted mine up before I went and started it there. what you probably, well, no, you don't know, is that even though I started it there, I pretty much ripped it all out. I started it on Friday, and Friday was not my best day over. There was a lot of sensory overload, a lot of overwhelming everything. Yeah, it was not my best day. And so looking back, my stitches were not, they were loose. My hands were not working the way they should. So I wasn't happy. I pulled it out what I had, which is just the lighthouse and a little bit of there. And since then, I've just been stitching on this in the mornings for a little bit before I take my son to camp. So this is pretty much like Tuesday through today. Finish these little birds, and right there today. I hate stitching with white. It is so easy to see how messed up your stitches are with white, and I loathe it. So I'm not enjoying the birds and the clouds. But how cute is that? I'm planning on bringing this to Hilton Head with us in a few weeks, and I would kind of like to kind of truck along and see how far I can get before we get there. And then wherever I wind up, just kind of like underneath it, like maybe doing 1/1 stitches or something small, put, HH 2023 or something like that to mark that we're going to Hilton Head, because Hilton Head has a cute little red and white lighthouse too. I am doing mostly called for colors. I did write down my fancy little sticky note, the substitutes that I'm doing, because I got this at In Stitches in Alexandria. If you're ever in Virginia near Mount Vernon, Old Town, Crystal City, I would suggest you go over there. It's a really nice shop. The gals are really nice too. But I called them up, asked if they had it. They said yes. And by the time I got there, she'd looked to make sure they had the threads. There were a few that they didn't have. So she'd already pulled what she thought were good substitutes, and they were good substitutes. So for barn door, I'm using Weeks Dye Works Baked Apple. For black coffee, I'm using Onyx. Colonial Rose, I'm using, what's this called? Red Pear. And then for hickory sticks, I'm just using DMC 3021. She had pulled another fancy floss, but while the brown matched it, there's a little bit of a greenish tint to it. So we just decided to go with this. And I think that's a good decision. So there's that. And then, give me a minute to shuffle this over here. What else do I have? And you know what? Someone should do a stitch along with the tiny towns. No specific tiny town, just any tiny town you want to stitch on. I think that would be fun. I'm not going to put it together, but someone should. Okay. For a good part of the last day at StitchCon Saturday, I worked on my Resistance is Futile. I actually got a good bit done, I think. I got, well, I know I got at least 453 stitches done, because the last time I looked at the stitch count on my pattern keeper, it said 453. I think it was somewhere around here the last time I posted, and now I'm over here. So I'm going to finish up this row and then just bring that over, bring that down, and then move on to the next section. I kind of want to figure out how to divvy this up to try to do a certain number of stitches, whether it's each week, each month, to see if there's an actual timeline I could finish this on. now that it's not killing me to work on it. We are coming up on a year, so I am thinking of maybe taking the day to myself. I know that sounds dramatic when you're talking about a dog, but for those of you tuning in for the first time, I haven't worked on this in almost a year because it was hard to look at because I was stitching on it when I lost my dog Gaskell last year. But it's getting easier, and so the day's coming up, and I'm kind of, but I think I might try to just take some time to myself and just stitch on this all day long and watch some feel-good movies. Kind of try to be selfish for the day. But I'm using, this fabric is Early America by Barbarall Creations. There's only 2 skeins right here, but I'm using the colorway Oak Bark. And it's a really pretty brown. It is maybe a bit more of a cool brown. I don't know. Maybe a good neutral brown? I don't know. It's definitely not a warm brown. So that is also 40 count. Oh my gosh. And then I am working on, excuse me, I don't know what's going on, but I'm working on the Saltwater Scrapbook Sal with Lydia's Leisurely Stitches. However, it's not really with anymore because she has finished what she wants to do. I still need to post a picture from StitchCon on Instagram because she came over, we got pictures. She did like a nice little column of 5, and I'm sitting there with 2 1/4. But I'm working on these little guys now, little mommy and son squirrel. Well, maybe it's husband and wife, but I'm calling it mommy and son squirrel eating ice cream because my kid and I like to eat ice cream when we go down to visit the grandparents in Vero Beach, and we go to a specific place out on Orchid Island. But so here's what I have of that square. And this doesn't look like much, but it was a pain in my butt because I missed a row here and I stitched all that. So I had to pull this back in, and then I went down or something, and so I had to pull it out again. And I was trying to work on this on Friday too, and Wednesday night before StitchCon actually began, a group of us were stitching over in the lobby of Live-In. So I made whoopsies, but I'm bringing this with me to Hilton Head. Because, you know, bringing beachy stuff to the beach sounds like a good idea. And I'm stitching that on 32 count. Some 32 count from Color Cotton. If you go back and you look at one of my other videos, I will probably have the name down. So, now the last cross stitch piece I've worked on recently, holy moly, is Sleepy Hollow by Liz Matthews. And she had a trunk show in the annex as well, and I saw a number of people buying this, so that was fun to see. I am stitching this with Carolyn from Carolyn Stitches. I think that's it. I'll look it up, but I think it's Caroline Stitches. Ooh. But I'm stitching this with her. Same fabrics. She's using the DMC. I'm using the MPIs. I was standing behind her in line last year at StitchCon and saw her getting the fabric and was like, oh, what's with that? And so we decided to, well, I decided to stitch along with her. I basically bombarded, and inserted myself into her stitching. I'm not even halfway done yet, but this is what I have so far. I finished up this cat, worked on this pumpkin, added in some of the leaves up here, and stitched up this little owl. Yeah, that's about what I did. So I worked on that for a little bit. How precious is that? So cute. I love it. I need to stitch on this more. And then I'm using the called for NPIs on that. And that is the last cross stitch thing I've been working on. I'm going to show you 2 needlepoint things that I worked on recently as well. Yesterday, I pretty much just basket weaved on my big oar piece because my head hurt so much that it wasn't happening. So over the last little bit, I had to rip out. I started stitching this oar with this darker blue, realized it was the wrong color, so I had to stitch that out, finished that up, started on this, and started pulling this white down. So it doesn't look like a lot, but this goes a lot. I don't know if it goes slower, but differently than cross stitch does. So I think I might be close to 20%, so a little less than 20% done with that. Also planning on taking that to the beach. And then I worked on this little ornament, summer ornament, Hello Summer, from my Pink Sugar Life. And if you want to try needlepoint, you've never tried it before, she is on Etsy, My Pink Sugar Life. She has lots of ornaments. A lot of them are, you know, the white background, so you can do what you want with them. And she has Hello Summer, Hello Spring, Hello Fall. I don't know if there's a Hello Winter. She has all sorts of stuff for all sorts of seasons. The cutest, and they're not, needlepoint canvases can be expensive. Comparatively, hers are not. This was $40, which is not bad for a canvas of this size, especially when she's painting them herself, I believe. I don't think she's sending them out. Yeah. I think she might be hand painting these herself. So if you want to try needlepoint, I would go check out her Etsy shop. Also, check her out on Instagram. She's posting lots of pictures. You can see how they look stitched up to get a good idea how it's going to be. So that's what I've been working on. We're at 23 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to show you real quick. Okay, let me talk about StitchCon real quick, and then I will talk about what I'm going to do over the next little bit. StitchCon, I went to Weekend B. Everyone says that the bigger name Flostubers go to Weekend A, and Weekend B is the louder crowd. I don't know if we're louder than Weekend A or not, but I love Weekend B, and you would be hard-pressed to get me to switch weekends unless I had to for some reason. But I love Weekend B. I love my table 20. The women are amazing. They're awesome. I have found my people. It's very overwhelming. Maybe not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone. But I'm neurodiverse, and it was overwhelming. More so this year than last year. And I talked to my husband about this, and he thinks it was so much more overwhelming for me because I've had such a poop year that it just kind of builds on top of each other. A last year I had an amazing year, so I was going in like free as a bird. But people there are so accommodating, and that is, you know, the attendees are accommodating. Barbara and her crew are so accommodating. The number of times, I was checked in on, hey, are you doing okay? The number of times they helped me find a quiet spot, the help with shopping that they gave me. It makes a huge difference, and it doesn't go unnoticed whether I showed enough gratitude or not. I don't know, but I'm very grateful. Holy guacamole. Hold that thought. I'm grabbing a sip of water. Ooh, hang on for. I have a water bottle over there. Sorry about that. So grateful, glad I went. It was nice to have a breather when I got home. Also grateful for the table that had the stuffed hippo, for allowing this random chick to just come up and pet your hippo. I needed a texture reset at that moment, and that helped me. It was a stuffed hippo, it was great. But so let me show you real quick what I got, both what I purchased and what I got at the freebie table. Oh my goodness. Hayford. My dog's confused. Okay, so going through freebies real quick. I got some Lizzie Kate, some Heart and Hand, and I feel like Elizabeth Ann has stitched a few of these, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. No clue what this is from, but it was super cute, and I thought it might be fun to stitch up and not like hang like that, but put in a bright pink frame like that, and put it by my stitching stuff. I got, two lavender and lace. I found this one. And then Vicky from my table, this girl was spotting all sorts of stuff over there and bringing it back for us based on what we've been talking about. She brought a table mate back some patriotic stuff because she stitches patriotic stuff. Another table mate is really into Halloween, and she found some cute Halloween stuff, and she kind of nailed it. But she brought me back this one, and this is Angel of Grace. And then I found not just Rosewood Manor's Quaker Diamonds, but the lady also had fabric with it. That had, it looks like she had started to stitch on it. I'm assuming maybe she just didn't like the way it was stitching up, or decided she just didn't like the pattern. Fergus, no. I don't know that I will use this fabric for this. I actually had the idea because of the size. It is huge. Fergus. Hi. Hey, BB. I actually had the idea that I'm working on a Bewitching Pixie Luna, and I'm not happy with the fabric. It's the 32 count Lugana, and so I thought maybe I might actually try restarting her on this, and maybe someone was saying that Vicki Clayton does thread conversions for Rosewood Manor, so, and if she hasn't, then she will. So I was thinking about maybe getting some of those silks because I've never used Vicky Clayton before, and um, doing that on 36 or 40 count because isn't that pretty? So, and then I don't know if I just showed this, but Liz Matthews, hello from Liz Matthews. There is a freebie over there, and it was like a bunch of them had been printed out, so I'm assuming she stuck them over there. And then I got a punch needle primitive magazine, and I got it. I want to stitch that. I think it was Ardith Designs, Amanda May, stitched it a while ago. I think it was her. I could be wrong, but it was really cute. So I thought I could stitch that up. And then I did not get this from the freebie table, but I did not pay for it. The table had the stuffed hippo that I was hugging on. I don't remember her name, but she gave this to me. Wonderland Hand Dyed Fabrics. She's the dyer. And how pretty is that? This is a fat 8 of mock turtle, 32 count Lagana. I'm not stitching Enora on this. This is really pretty green. I don't know that's translating the best on the screen, kind of. But she gave me that. So while there, I bought Strawberry Fair, which they called my name over the microphone in the stitching room to get this to me. And it was very embarrassing. So I was thinking, pulling the colors to see if that might go well with it. I don't know if there's too much green around the outside, and if that would look wrong, but if it does, plenty of other options to try with this. That's so pretty. Okay, so everything else I bought. Well, I didn't buy this. We got this in our StitchCon bag. Everyone got it because I think the editor of Just Cross Stitch was doing some talk sessions, kind of finding out what stitchers wanted, what they were interested in. I didn't attend either of them, so I didn't hear, but she was there. So the rest of this I bought, and I'll let you know whether it came from the annex or the store. The Salem Sisters Apothecary by, who's this by? Primrose Cottage Stitchers. Apparently this was a very, very popular one there. I know 2 or 3 other people at my table bought it. So the fabric that I'm currently stitching my Nora Corbett Luna on, I was thinking maybe, you know, restarting here and there and then using this for that. And using an over-dyed black or dark, dark, dark brown. I don't know, just an idea. I also got the Halloween Tiny Town because even though the Seaside was the only one I was desperately in love with, this one was super cute, and I love all things Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. So I also thought I do still have more of that pumpkin pie left that I cut off. I don't know if the lighter oranges in here would blend in, but I had the idea of maybe making this, and I think that's browns and oranges, but maybe converting this to like purples on the orange. I don't know. Sounds like a better idea than maybe it is. But the pattern calls for 32 count legacy linen. I don't know what color legacy linen even looks like. So, I got lavender. Who's this by? Pedal Pusher. I feel like I got a Pedal Pusher pattern last year too. But I love all things lavender. I started craving it when I was pregnant with my son, not eating it, the smell of it, and I've never looked back. I got this kitted up Autumn Seaside from Forbidden Fiber Company. I got in 40 count Lullaby to go along with it. And I got most of the flosses. I'm missing one, and that is Jingle Bells. So I'm trying to debate whether or not to just find a substitute or go and pay shipping for just one more thing of floss. But so here's most of them. Go with that. And that. Woo! It's super cute. This is a really pretty blue. So I think I might start this like mid-August when it's still summertime, but summer's beginning to end and you're beginning to go into, you know, more fall time mindset with school starting and everything. And I don't know. I don't know how quickly I could get it finished, but I think it'd be fun to have a little bit of a summary part of Halloween up. And it's raining again. And then I got Vintage Grapes by Jeanette Douglas. And I thought the whole time, I want to find a sampler. Well, I don't need a sampler. I already have a bunch of samplers and I haven't even started. I haven't finished the samplers that I do have. So I wasn't going to let myself buy a sampler, but I saw this. Also, I have another sampler with grapes on it that I haven't even started. It's by Bygone Stitches. I want to call it Grapes of Wrath. I don't think it's Grapes of Wrath, but it's very pretty. There's two different versions there. This one has some fancy stitches. This one does not. And it gives you the DMC numbers, DMC conversion brackets. So you can do classic color work, silk floss, dinky dyes, Gloriana, the thread gather, silken colors. I'd probably do the silks because dinky dyes. There's not even that many dinky dyes. It's 2. But I love silks and I love dinky dyes. And then, I got that at the Annex. And then I got these 2 at Keepsakes. I saw this one last year and I did not get it, but I should have. It's okay though. I got this year. There's probably dog hair on this is the one I'm going to stitch, but there's no probably about it. There's definitely dog hair on my stitching in this house. I have a St. Bernard. This one, he's not shedding so much. He just kind of picks up her hair and carries it around. Kevin, he sheds a little bit. He's a pity. But St. Bernard's, they're shedding. So there's that. And then this is a bowl full of scaries. That's one I've been considering getting anyways because I finished a bowl full of scaries 2 last year. So I thought it would be cute for them to go together. I just realized, oh, that's a snake. I don't know that I'm going to do that border. I might find another border to do. I don't do snakes. No. Okay. And then there was a freebie courtesy of Lottie Daw. And that's the cool thing about Keepsakes, the store. There's freebies all over. The linen that I originally got to do Pam's Survival Salon, Praiseworthy Stitches, Simple Gifts, was this Vanilla Cream by Atomic Ranch. And then I also got some of this to do The Blue Flower by Liz Matthews. You know what's under this pile, I think. Hang on. Yes, it is. So I originally, nope, hang on. So both the Sal and this by Liz Matthews, because I had some 32 count, but I wasn't in love with it, so I got that. And I had ordered some Gloriana that I found online, and this will be my first time using Gloriana. But this is called, and it's not the called for, it's called Blue Lilac. Hi, Frankie. He's like a cat. So that'll be very pretty. And I'll probably just do one strand of that. So let's do this in here. So there's that 36 count. And then I got very boring fabric this year. I got, I guess that's also Atomic Ranch. Mellow Stone 28 Lugana. I started Springtime at Hawk Run Hollow a while ago. I did not stick with it because brilliant me decided, okay, I'll do it on 40 count because that is a huge mother trucker. You know, so 40 count, and the raw linen would be a cool look. Have you ever tried stitching on 40 count raw linen? Because if you have probably wanted to gouge your eyes out with a spoon as well. I didn't even get past the top part. Hi, baby, before I decided, screw this, I'm done. I still really wanted to stitch it, so I got another 40 count, but I don't know what's wrong with it. I think it was like too white. And then there was this pink 40 count, which could work, but I don't think my husband wants pink around the house. And at the time I didn't have bifocals yet. And I was having a hard time seeing the 40 count, so I was like, forget this. So when I went there, when my table meets Chris, I asked her what it's like stitching 1/1 and what she would suggest. She said, use an even weave. Do not use a linen because with the linen it might be more wonky. She suggested doing, if I was going to do 1/1, doing 28 or 32 count Lugana. I trust her word because if you were at StitchCon B last year and you saw that big like sampler with Adam and Eve on it, but it wasn't nearly as big as it should have been because it was stitched 1/1, that was her. That Fruits of Plenty this year Weekend B with the blue and the white and the variegated, that was also her. She knows what she's talking about as far as I'm concerned. So I got this and I'm going to do 1/1 on this. Stay tuned for the adventures. Okay, so that is what I got. So stick a cork in me, I'm done. Now, I'm going to talk about some plans that I have real quick over the next week. I'm going to keep working on Away We Ride as long as I have the mojo for it because I think it would be nice to have that done for this Halloween. And soon enough to get it to a framer and back. We leave for the beach after the 4th of July. I'm going to bring Tiny Town Seaside. I'm going to bring my saltwater scrapbook style. I'm going to bring my big oars, and then there's another needlepoint I'm going to bring. But in the meantime, I do want to keep stitching on Away We Ride. And then I want to, this week, something else I got, excuse the crinkle, right before I left for StitchCon, literally, it rolled in the day I was rolling out. The mail dropped it off, I brought it in, I unpacked it, and then I left to go to my kids' third grade picnic, and from the picnic I got on the road. So this frame is, I think it's 6x6. No, I think I got 7x7. It's from Signed and Numbered. It's on Etsy. I think it's Lindy Stitches with her birds use it a lot. Uses their frames a lot. I have one. I think Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch has used them a few times as well. I like them. So, but I'm going to stick this in here, and it will take the place of that little egg. And this little egg was some pattern I found on Etsy however many moons ago. I don't know if I accidentally robbed someone in stitching it because it was just on there and I didn't know about the legalities of stolen patterns being put up that shouldn't have been, you know, pictures. So I don't know who made it. I don't know where it came from, and I just pray God that I didn't steal, that it was a freebie, and that if it did belong to someone who had it copyrighted, that they will forgive me. But so there's this, and I just grabbed a frame from the lobby. So this week I want to get this framed, and then in addition to getting that framed, I also have hey Frankie, what you doing? This piece that was part of Fat Quarter Shop's I forget what it's called, but they each year the pattern's free, the quilt pattern's free. Corey Yoder uses her fabrics for it a lot. No, stop. You just kind of, you stitch along each week, every few days more is released, and you just kind of make a donation to their Make-A-Wish fundraiser. So I did this, and I don't know that it'll fit like perfectly, but I got this 8x10 for it to go with. Well, I'm being awkward. So sticking that in there. I don't know if I got this frame at the lobby or Michael's, but it's from Studio Decor, so whichever one of them sells Studio Decor, that's where I got that. So I want to get those put together. I'm picking up, actually after I pick up my kid from summer camp, I'm picking up 2 quilts. So I'd like to figure out binding fabric for them. And those are my plans for the next little bit. I keep coming up with all these other plans I want to stitch on. My son's Evie, I want to beat up Anna, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's overwhelming me, so I'm just sticking with what I have going for now until I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. And then I'll figure out what to do next. I will probably try to post another update real quick before we leave, or maybe right when we get back from vacation. I was thinking about doing a quilty episode, quilty tube, you know, showing you what we'll be back up to, the 4 quilts that I need to bind, some of the quilts that I'm actually working on, just maybe show you my out of control fabric stash. I don't know. If you're interested in that, I would not do it as part of like the cross stitch. It would be like a Flostube extra quilty tube thing. If you're interested in that, leave a comment, let me know. That's about it for now. If you stuck with me the whole way through, thank you. And forgive me for being crazy. Yeah, hit like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will talk to you soon. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.